Gil. She bugging, man. Cory Booker to the rescue. Welcome to another edition of the Newark Citizen Forum. With me, as always, are my co-hosts, Anton Willer.
Hey, how you doing, Ryan?
And welcome back, Chris.
Good to see you guys.
Linda did a good job last week.
She held down the fort.
Right, but we did miss you, so.
Oh, good. Good to be missed.
So let's get right into the issues. Our mayor today, last night. Today he's this big media superstar. He already was a media superstar. Yeah. But it's to a different level today. Yeah. Because he actually did do a good deed, and he ran into a burning house.
He did.
And he rescued a young lady that was in distress. Okay. A neighbor of his. And I do want to say that I thought it was a good deed. I think that we should put politics aside when we have somebody that does something that is worthwhile. Because at the end of the day, this woman's alive. Right. And you can't. If you didn't run in that building, you can't say rather she would have been alive or not. Right. If he weren't there. Right. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, no matter what type of media because we got a lot of people hating the fact that there's some haters out there that are just, he's just playing this up and. He gonna get that because he's Cory Booker.
Yes, right. He's famous.
Right. And so this guy
also he just proved last night he's the son of Isaiah. That is very important. That's Superman's father.
He showed
superheroic.
Well, I know y'all laughing about it, but I'm be real though. But it's interesting, and I'm gonna tell you why it's interesting to me. And I thought about this last night before I posted on Newark Speaks about it. Is that this kid got a lot going for him. And to put all of that at risk, to go into a building that you don't know, if, because he didn't know. Listen, I know Cory Booker embellishes. Mm-hmm. So some of this may be a little bit embellished. Okay. But it could have took a turn for the worse. You can't control a fire. And for a kid that got a lot going for him, a future going for him to put all of that in jeopardy at that moment.
And be able to tweet about it, though. That was what was important to me. He was able, did he tweet while he was in the house?
No, he didn't tweet while he was in the house. That's why he tweeted when he got out. He got to stop it. I'm trying to be serious.
He's serious.
He's trying to be sarcastic. He had the chick on his back tweeting like that.
We're coming out
now.
I'm sorry.
That was funny.
That's not called for.
That was funny.
It's not called for.
But listen,
I'm just making humor.
Because you take the serious side of this, man.
I respect what he did. I'm just making
You have to respect what he did,
I respect
right?
what he
Because
did.
you would want somebody to do the same for you.
That's right.
You're absolutely right.
You're
absolutely right.
But let me get back to it, because I'm dead serious. Because I do want the folks that's out there who, every time I say something nice about Cory Booker, I get a bunch of hate mail, right? And so, right. I don't hate this guy though. I'm not like, a lot of people. I disagree with some of his politics. Mm-hmm. I do not hate. Listen, I've seen Cory Booker roommates. I've met his roommates. If this kid wanted to hang out with me and he called me up and said, "Rock, let's go hang out," I go hang out with him because I've seen some of the people he roomed with, and I know this kid had some fun when he was in school. So I'm not, so the deal is, I don't hate this kid. This kid is a very likable guy. You just dislike his politics, the way he played games with his politics. But listen, this guy put a lot on the line by running in that building.
He did.
And the reality is that he didn't have, I said, because a lot of people say, oh, he should have, he played this, he just playing up to the camp, whatever. And the firemen do this all the time. Here's the difference. They get paid to do it all the time. They got equipment to do it all the time. He didn't have to do it. He could have turned around and said, you got everybody out, let's wait till the firemen come up and let them go. And he chose to actually go up in there and rescue them.
I actually think it's unusual that he did it as a mayor, because I don't think most mayors would do that.
I don't think most citizens would have done it. And I think that is the glowing point. I make light of it because he's all right. The young lady is all right. Everybody's fine. We can joke about it now.
Tweeting while he rescued.
Yeah, I had to do that. But what I'm going to say is I do respect it because what he did was bring. I made a comment before. Yeah. And I had to stop my absolutism. What his act last night did was let me say, all right, now listen, just like you just said, politics and personalities are two different things. The personalities that politics begets are another thing too. So what he did as a human being was a great gesture. Because in even thinking about it, I see this little hot-headed kid who wanted to be a hero. We all have that moment, and we don't know what we'll do at one point in time when adrenaline is pumping and we think someone is in danger. We don't know what we will do, and he did just what he thought he would do. He helped. So I'm proud of him for that. It is actually whether it's him or not who's done it, it's definitely a good thing for our city. It shows that, you know what? I said he didn't love Newark.
Right.
I said that.
You mean we were
I said
arguing about
that.
that?
I said that. I said that.
So you want to take that back?
And you know what?
I think you take it back.
All right, take it back.
I think you take it
I'm not
back.
going to take it back because you said it, and then he's going to say I only took it back because you said it.
The doctor has spoken. You can take it back.
I'll say this, though. What I'll agree with you both is he's proven to me that Newark is a part of him, and I'm happy about that. Where he goes with this from now on, because I'm sure we're going to see this till next month, or the news, and that's cool. But I hope that he uses the opportunity to reach
to build bridges. He actually
that's all I want.
He does have another chance.
Just to say something very interesting on that note, I was reading the Facebook feed, and someone who had pasted an article about what Mayor Booker had done said he can't be the same human being after having experienced.
Right.
And you know what? I really paused in that moment, and I said, I hope so. I said, I hope so. I hope that he's able to display a consistent sensitivity to all of the breadth and the depth of the issues that the Newark citizens face. I said, I hope so. I commend him. I hold nothing back in commending him, because this showed his compassion. A lot of people talk about compassion. A lot of people talk about what they would do. He gave proof to what he would do.
But here's something else to show, Doc and Anton. It showed where he actually lived.
Yes.
So I mean, you know, that's the funny part about it, right?
He came down on Hawthorne, right?
He was proud. He was going home. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You clearly see his house next door to the house that he ran into the building and saved. So, you know, and this is the reason why a lot of people that make those claims about he don't live here, you know, he's not black, you know, disagree with his policies, disagree with the things that he do. But when you make claims like that, sometimes it backfires on. And to me, this is one of those times. Because yes, he does spend a lot of time out of town. There's no question in my mind about that. This is one of the lucky times he was in town. He was going home, whatever, from an interview or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, what this showed was, though, that Cory Booker was on his way home. And that his next door neighbor house was burning down, and he ran into the house to help his next door neighbor get out. And I don't want us to also forget that there were some officers, especially Officer Rodriguez, because he actually got 3 of them out before Cory actually came up. So I don't want us to miss the fact that, to be honest with you, I mean, because of Cory's personality, because of the media love for Cory Booker, he's getting all of the attention. But there was another guy there that, you know what I'm saying, was in that house with him that was saving these people. That was Officer Rodriguez, and we do want to we do want to give him credit for that, because I think that he, you know what I'm saying, went above and beyond, because he too could have said, let's just wait till the fire folks to come in, you know what I'm saying, and do it. So listen, for all those that don't like Cory, for whatever reasons, don't like him for his policies, don't like him for his politics. But, you know, when it comes down to him being a human being or whatever, I hope he's shown his human side. And I do hope that he uses this to actually look at it and says, you know, maybe I do need to build some bridges. This is an opportunity. You done proved that you live in Newark.
I hope that's what he does.
You done shown that you really care about citizens, because you did an unselfish act when you didn't have to do it. And so here's the time, you know what I'm saying, for you to come. So I hope he does it, you know, but on to Cory, because, you know, with all the good news with Cory, I mean, because we forget that there was, this guy started off with a bad week, I would say 2 weeks.
I think
with the whole
arena thing,
the whole Devils thing. You know what I'm saying, came down to arbitration decision last week where Vanderbeek, we actually owe the Devils money after we gave over $200 million to build an arena. And the problem that I'm having is that our mayor threw a tantrum. And he started sounding like Malcolm.
Malcolm who?
Malcolm X. I mean, with the whole tank and hustler and huckster and you know the bamboo.
Sound like Malcolm Forbes.
I mean, he sounded a little like, I think he kind of took a little about Malcolm's speech then.
Right.
But I mean, at the end of the day, right, this is a guy who has been very business friendly. He has been, I mean, from the day he became mayor, he has, to me, kind of partnered with Van der Beek in trying to claim, give this impression that Van der Beek and the arena is going to do so much for the city. And then after he loses the arbitration, which is final binding, since I'm in union, I know what that means, right? Because once you go to arbitration, that's it. That's it. Final.
That's it.
Now he can take it to court all he wants.
That's it.
Ain't no judge overturning no arbitration. Right. That's So they went to arbitration. They thought they lost. We owe the devil $600,000, and he gets it to the front of the mic. He claims the citizens, right? But when you look at the picture, the folks that's behind him is the directors, the police brass. These are the folks that he got. Now he actually may get some citizens down there now after this rescue he did yesterday. But the first press conference he had a bunch of working city residents behind him.
Employees.
You know what I'm saying? He's making his claim about Jeff Van der Beek being a huckster and a pimp or whatever he called them.
Quote from the article that David G. Mbosa wrote: a high-class, highfalutin huckster and hustler.
And hustler. So, I mean, he used some very, very strenuous terms to some bad adjectives to describe this guy. And the problem now, though, is that Jeff Van der Beek coming out on attack, and he's pretty much sending some sort of bad feels out to the business saying, maybe you need to give Newark a second look. He did an editorial board interview yesterday, and now he's saying, well, before you come in here, maybe you need to give Newark a second look. What do you think? Do you think it's a good idea for Cory Booker, after losing the arbitration hearing, to actually be going on this tirade against the others?
I think that, because I listened to everything you said, I think one of the most important things is, for me, I don't know where reality starts and theatrical trailer ends. Because in a serious nature, there are a lot of dots that can be connected with relationships with the Devils, Cory Booker, Ray Chambers, Richard Marte being the former business administrator, now doing work with the Devils and things of that nature, a contracting agreement that was supposed to be an illegal agreement that wasn't voted on by the city council, but was supposed to solidify the Devils' position and how they beat the city. There are a lot of things, because we started, when we first started taping, we even talked about how they had brought in consultants to re-examine and do all this stuff. So what was all that for? If we ended up here spending all that money to do that, then losing money in the process, and then owing money. We owe money. So whatever money we were going to get, we're going to have to offset it with something, and then we're going to have to give a check too.
So I think we only got a net gain of $300,000.
$300,000.
Yes.
So I say all that to say that what Cory Booker has shown me is his inability to cultivate business relationships that will result in some economic prosperity for this city. And his tantrum only proves to me that it's more theater than actual political maneuvering. Because now, let's say this. When Brother Baraka had problems with the arena, and all the other council members had problems with the arena, now the mayor has a problem with the arena. That's a collective goal that the 9 of them can get together. the 10 of them can get together on and make something happen.
But I think,
wait, Rob, seriously, wait, please. Because now, like you said, to me, this is connected. These two articles are connected because now he has an opportunity to completely reconnect with the residents of this city on 2 issues. One, hey, you might not have liked me before, but 2, I'm having some realizations. I had a life-altering moment, and in that life-altering moment, I realized some things about myself, and it started with me having to stand up for my people because we're financially cash-strapped. We need money. People's lives aren't just affected by a burning building, Rock. People's lives are affected by it.
I agree.
You're a union, man. People are losing jobs every day. So what I'm saying is, I think that tantrum you called it, I just think it was theater. And I believe that because a real statistician would have went back to the drawing board and said, how do I make this right? Because what difference does it make if Panasonic's coming here and you giving them all this tax credit, and we losing money here in this end?
Right, and we really not gaining
jobs from them. So what I'm saying, Rock, is with respect, this is another opportunity for him to reconnect and get the community to support him and say, no, we demand more.
But see, the problem,
and I'll end with this, the penny pinching, pulling back the cops, that's only going to hurt us in our image later. That's only going to hurt the city and our image.
I got to be honest with you, Anton. I'm actually kind of shocked that we spending that much money for police.
You're right, Rob.
Down at the arena because I don't think we need that many.
It was actually expensive to me, but to pull them back now looks more like.
No, I agree, but I don't think we need that.
Tit for tat.
But you raise a point that elevates this above the fare of just theatrics. Because this gave the mayor an opportunity to be aligned with his council.
That's right.
To be aligned
That's
with his
right.
citizens. And we can't undermine or even underscore the political capital that brings and that affords.
Oh my God.
So if he had not showed frustration, if he had not showed some level of anger and that he was upset, I think people would have taken issue with, okay, he's fine with Newark being taken advantage of.
That's right.
He's fine with Newark once again getting the short end of the stick. His choice of language, once again, the man always speaks in prose.
Right.
He always speaks in prose.
You're
But
right.
with choice in language aside, I was glad for him to show something. I mean, sometimes I think politicians become too plastic, and I was glad for him to show something. And more importantly, I said, can we use this? Can those of us use this as a wake-up call, as a way to say, if you were wrong about the dealings with Vanderbeek in the Devil's Arena, what else could you be wrong about? Where other people are looking to come into the city of Newark.
Right.
Sure, they're bringing an asset, but are they looking to bring that asset at the expense of the city?
Right.
But here's the problem that, first of all, let's clear something. He didn't have his own council with him at that press.
No, he didn't.
Only four showed up.
Right.
In the abstract.
But to me, the reason why he was upset, one, I've always known Cory Booker had a potty mouth. He just ain't had it in front of a lot of people. He cussed me out many a times.
So he said high-class, highfalutin huckster.
Right. Well,
that's
he called.
alliteration.
We call that.
But to me, what this exposed and why he was upset. Because it exposes actually lack of work in the people that's actually
working for him.
And I'm saying to you is that what happened here is that once again, what I've been saying and many of us have been saying is that because Cory Booker spends so much time outside of this town, he doesn't really watch the ship, and he allowed those people around him to actually make the decisions.
I don't think he knows how to steer one.
Well, okay, but that's the problem though. And I'm saying to me, what this did, and this was a big one, it exposed, you know what I'm saying, once again, it's right, that this guy, this kid really wasn't leading this charge, that he allowed for other people to lead this charge, and then when he got exposed because he was out front saying, oh, we're going to work it out in the end, it's going to be good, Jeff Vanderbeek is my lifelong friend, he's going to do such and such, and then when it backfired into his face, he had no choice because then it showed the weakness of the people who he put around him to work these type of deals out.
Another point to be said. I think what this showed is you cannot always, let's say, rely on your charisma or your political connectedness to see things.
You're going to have to see results.
City.
That's right.
And so,
you mean like Obama?
Right now we're talking about Mayor Booker. But what I mean in particular,
what you say,
Obama does that too.
So let's go back. Do you think Mayor Booker imagined that he would be in a position with Vanderbeek that he couldn't get what he needed
no,
to
he
get?
Did.
He didn't imagine
He
didn't imagine that.
Right.
So he imagined that his level of political connectedness, his charisma, the love, the air that's around him, the sphere where people like Mayor Booker, because of Mayor Booker, I'm going to do this for the city of Newark, although we know the Devil's Arena preceded Mayor Booker. But still, this shows that no, your political connectedness does have a limit. It shows that you're going to have to show that you have some well thought through strategy, some well thought through agenda to once again mind the store. Point blank.
Well, do you think he's going to come out the store now after this?
I don't think he has the capabilities.
You know, I think he has the opportunity to reset.
No, I think he has the opportunity to reconnect with what I mean by that is, I don't think he has the desire to go outside of his network to get people in with fresh ideas to help him, recultivate.
Oh, I agree. You don't trust people. You don't have that much trust.
It's not even about trust. It is a distinct arrogance.
That too.
There is a different type of there's certain arrogance where confidence protrudes, and then there's arrogance that reeks of condescension. And theirs is more of condescension. I remember I wrote a policy piece about something, about trying to revamp some things economically with the city. The first thing he said to me was, it was well written. I'm from Newark. I'm supposed to write well. I'm supposed to write well. You know, I'm from the home of Amiri Baraka. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be able to write well. So, I mean, but those things like that, when you say things like that. But
like when he said to me when I first met him, I didn't shake your hand like that because you didn't have a tie.
Right, exactly. But there are instances, exactly.
No, he said that when I first met him.
But these are instances right now that he can reconnect and rebuild and rebrand and refocus his brand on trying to be that connected, refocus his brand. Because he's not going to change.
Refocus.
Who he is a packaged individual that has a distinct set of views and ideas, and he has a distinct appeal to a distinct group of people. And I ain't mad at him for that. I am not mad at him for that. I am adverse to his politics and his policies and how it affects the people of my city. I live here. So, you know, it's no beef there. We can talk. We joke all the time when we see each other. But the policy piece behind this is what I've said before. Get with your council members now. Get with your council members. Go door to door, what we talked about last show.
The ball's in his court.
The ball's in your court. Put the same way you went with the Foundation for Newark's Future and did that application and tried to get that thing done, the list and the new thing for the schools that you wanted to do.
Which was a failure.
Well, okay, but do this now. I bet you the arena one won't be a failure. If he did work with his council members, work with some union people to really talk about what this thing is about, and got with some local community business folk, why not wrap it around? Mr. Vanderbeek wants to play. Let's do a 3% commuter sales tax between at certain times of events and things of that nature. Let's use our parking authority to get more revenue and things of that nature. But let's play ball. You got people around here from this town, in this town, that know how to play ball and know what to do. Let's do it.
Here's another thing. When I read Vanderbeek's article today after he's the editorial board, I said to myself, is he sending a signal on how easy it is to pimp the folks
in the city of Newark?
Like how
I think what he's saying is he's prime time.
He's kind of like
Jeff Vanderbeek said he's prime
time. Because on the one
time.
hand he said I regret. On the one hand he said I regret. I'm rethinking what devil. On the other hand, he's saying, but I ain't going nowhere.
You know what I mean?
So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I got
the world even knew I was right. So I'm gonna keep getting what I can get. You know.
We need to hold his feet to the fire, Vanderbeek, and we need to send a message to others that those in the city of Newark are minding the store. It's not just the mayor, but the citizens. That community engagement is alive and well in this city. That we have people thinking, and that we won't forget. And I think too quickly we move on to the next topic and the next issue. Not that we hold grudges, but that we learn from where people have hoodwinked or have bamboozled us. And so when going forward to build businesses, to build partnerships and connections, that we're more upfront. I don't think we are upfront as we need to be as what is the city of Newark going to get out of this. Oftentimes we get caught in the glare of the headlights of I'm bringing X, Y, and Z corporation to the city of Newark. I'm rebranding the city of Newark because I think a lot of the moves that we make in this city, let's say from the mayor's perspective, is around rebranding.
It's about marketing trends.
Yes,
definitely.
It's definitely around that. But now it's time to have an honest and an authentic conversation. 4 years ago, your main push could have been rebranding the city of Newark, but now your push has to be revitalizing the city of Newark.
So before we move on, I'm just a quick question. Do you think this puts him back in the running for governor?
Rock, you and I talked about that.
He doesn't want to be governor.
Rock, you and I talked about that. I believe he wants to be governor.
Oh, I know he
I believe he wants to be governor and president of the United States.
Listen, Chris.
No, he definitely wants to be president.
Chris.
Oh, governor,
Chris. Cory Booker wants to be governor.
That's just me thinking out loud, saying he'd be better as a senator than
but I'm telling you right now, he wants to be.
I don't doubt that.
Governor.
I just said that.
His
Like I said, me thinking out loud.
Fall back.
A better
but I actually think it's put him.
Than governor.
I think you and I talked about that before.
I think he's back in the game.
I don't know. I don't. If he can't reconnect with people here, first of all, if you don't win Essex County, you don't win. You don't win.
Brother, let me tell you something. His press team is probably one of the best
he's a phenomenal
folks.
But it still doesn't get him over here. It still doesn't get him over here, Rob.
I think he's going to win over some folks.
Listen, I think if he takes the advice that we said,
I think
he reconnects with the people, shows that he can work with his council to get something done. Do you know what? Those 9 people will work with him to get him out of there.
Here's why I think that he's going to be able to win some folks. When you tell people a certain thing all the time, when people listen to you, you don't live here, you don't think, and folks see that, wait a minute, these people say he ain't living here, and they say he was on his way up.
But that's for outside.
I mean, no, I'm talking about people here.
Right.
No, I'm talking about people here. I'm talking about the folks who constantly make those claims. And that's why I tell people not to say that. He made you can say he spends a lot of time out of town,
Right.
but you can't say he doesn't live here. But people get up on the mics, they get in front of the audience, and they say he doesn't live here, and then people respond to that. You can turn around here and go right now on Facebook. I know a lot of cats that sit up there and say, "Oh, Corey doesn't live here, Corey." But now you got national press where this kid just went and rescued his neighbor. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm trying to say? And I think when that happens, the people start looking at right. And I think that what happens is when people start seeing stuff like that, they start looking at the messengers that people was actually listening to, saying the other stuff, saying,
it comes back
you know what? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Why are we listening to these fools? Let's actually go talk to this guy now and see what he's about. And so, I don't know. I think I actually think that he probably back in the running for governor. You know, listen. That's my opinion. I think Bergen loves stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's in a run.
I think he still has a lot to prove. I think that people have seen him for the manager that he is, and I think
that's why
I think that being a senator may be the
best.
Well, it's the best for him, but he don't know. He don't always usually do his best.
It's the best.
Well, because he arrogantly believes that he is the best. So, right. There's nothing wrong with that.
You don't listen to nobody else.
You're right. Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Corey Booker. But listen, let's move on to another issue, and that's the school board race that's happening on April 17th. Yes. Tuesday, April 17th, we asked the folks to go out to vote. So we just want to have a little conversation about the team that we support here. I am the only one on the forum who is supporting the Children First team. I have two Education Matters team, but I got a problem with that name, Education Matters.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? And so no, because we just sat up and talk about arrogance about Booker.
Right.
But I'm sorry, this reeks of arrogance. So, because although education does,
a school board
but that's not why they say it. But that's not why they say Education Matters. Why they saying? Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all gonna have y'all time, Education Matters. Hold on. Y'all gonna have y'all time. 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 The problem with the name and the problem with the reason why I have an issue with it is because the reason why folks named it that is because they're trying to promote somehow that these people who running on this team are better because they're educated, more educated than the people that running on the other team. Right. And I'm saying to you that I'm sorry that is not the only thing that makes a good leader. And the arrogance, hold on, and the arrogance because I'm telling you right now. Yeah, I know y'all do too. So let the host finish, and then y'all go. And the problem that I have with it,
two co-hosts make up a host.
That's cool. It don't matter. But
actually now we're all saying the same thing.
Well, no, we're not. I'm sorry, we're not. Because here's the issue with it. Is because I keep having this debate with certain individuals who running your team. A certain individual who's running your team, Shavar.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying the name. And I'm saying that
I argue with Shavar all the time.
That is not the only thing that makes a good leader. And the problem is the people on the Children First believe that educating the kids matter too. But don't turn around here and make believe because somebody got doctorate degrees, law degrees, and all these other degrees, that somehow they are better than the people that's running on the other team. And I have issue with that because guess what? If we went based on education, most people running and sitting in offices in this country in leadership position have degrees. And this country is in chaos. And so apparently they weren't that smart to get us out of the rut that we're in. And so to me, leadership has to come from within. It's more than just having education. It's more than just turning around here having book smart. You have to have common sense. And I'm sorry, most people that sit in the schools and all they want to do is learn the books, miss common sense as a point of reference to go when we have issues that go in the community. Please go.
Okay. So you had a lot to say there, so let me just try to say this succinctly, quickly, and get to the point. Of course education matters because we stand on the backs of giants who didn't have the opportunity to get the education that we now do. My father only had a high school degree, but yet my father now works at the University of Virginia. Because he only has a high school degree, when the research is published, his name gets buried. okay? And the PhDs, their names get shown, but he does all the work. The students all come to him. He has the patents that NASA uses. So because that black man didn't have the opportunities that black man should have had, that black man made sure that this black woman did. So education does matter. It does not make me better than, it does not make me an elitist. And sometimes it may offer or afford me some qualification, some insight, because I had to have experience based off of that education.
Right.
But in a school board race, we dare not tell our children that education doesn't matter. In a school board race, we dare not tell our children that we can't provide them models of educational success.
But is that what they say?
Wait,
But is that what they say?
Yes, go ahead.
Let me say this. Hey, Rahaman, let me just say this. The notion of education mattering is one that needed to be resonated throughout the election for both teams.
Both teams.
If there is a double
But I do think both teams are saying that.
if there's a double connotation with that tone you're saying, then no, I don't agree with that. That's not why I'm supporting Rashid in his efforts. That's not why I'm doing it.
You need a team, right?
That's my man for 25 years. Listen, for 25 years. The same way I supported Al-Tariq, the same way I supported Daniqua, when she didn't even know if she was going to be on the team last year. She came to me with her brother, because her brother went to St. Benedict's with Rashid and I, and Dr. Rashid and I walked and did what we did on our own for them people. So I support him, and when his efforts are a part of this team, just like I supported them. What I don't appreciate is him being called an educated fool because he went out, left his community, and could have went to any college or university in the world, but came back here and went into a classroom when he applied for a job at the Newark Public Schools and they wouldn't hire him.
That's wrong.
So let me say this. Listen, I'm about the issues. I'm about talking about strategies and anticipatory sets and objectives and goals and three-pronged objectives to help kids. That's what Rashid is about. Wait, Rahaman, because you had your piece. Because what you're trying to do is take what people do in our community all the time and say, well, if you speak proper English, you're talking white.
That's not what I'm saying.
No. If the notion that education, you got to have PhDs or doctor's degrees to only serve and be a community person is what is being
But that's what's being said.
I'm not saying that.
Well, you might not be saying that. But there are people that's running your team saying that.
Marcial and Tara has never said that.
Never said that.
Well, first of all, I've never talked to them.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Rob.
Okay.
People saying things about people. You talking to the people running the campaign.
But they the people, I'm sorry, that put the ticket together.
So
And I'm
Put the ticket together.
Hold on, wait a minute, hold on,
Rob.
That's what talk to the people, right?
Because I got a problem with that when all three of the people that's on the other side, they in degree programs right now trying to further their education.
And they should be.
Marquise Akil Lewis gave a speech at History High School talking about why he's furthering his education. I sat proud like I was watching my younger brother. When education does matter. It's not the only thing that matters, but it does matter. And I get sick and tired of the people in this community who told us to go to college, come back and serve, come back and cash this check, and when we come to the door, they kick us in the ass. They did it to us all the time. They told us to go get our degrees. They told us to go get our degrees. They told us to come back and serve. The same people that said that are saying, oh, because you got a PhD, you need practical common sense. Well, where did they get their startup? Where did they get their applicable sense?
You're missing.
I'm not missing the point because I don't agree with the notion that because you have an education, you are better fit to serve.
Okay,
there are many people who do just what her father or grandfather did, or what my father did as an immigrant coming from the Republic of Suriname. What was Dutch Guiana at the time, coming to this country so that I could have an education.
Yeah, but Anton, I'm going to say it again, the people who leading your ticket, the people who running your ticket, the people that put together the ticket, the people that's financing the ticket, this is their mantra.
Since you speak of finance, let's talk about Pablo for a second.
Hold on, wait a minute. He ain't finance. I put a check in the ticket too.
Yeah, you too.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on.
Two is important.
Come on. I knew this was going to get heated. I got to deal with two. Education. I got to deal with two education matter people. But listen.
Go ahead.
Listen. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Look like him.
No, hold on. Yeah, you're probably right. Listen, here's the point because I have this debate with those that running the team because I don't have enemies on the education matter team.
That's right.
Nor do I rather the people that's running it or the people that's running it. I actually like some of the. Hold on, wait a minute. I actually like some of the people that's on one in particular person that I like on the education matters change. But because I don't really know the other two, to be honest with you, but I do know something about the other brother, the brother that's running. And I'm saying to you is that when you have people who put together the ticket, who put this notion out there, because see, the problem is they put together the ticket with the notion that because the first thing was, oh, y'all support Marquise. How dare y'all support Marquise? He ain't qualified to be. And but that's what they did. And I'm saying to you is that Marquise, as far as I'm concerned, has been one of the best leaders on the school advisory board. Just because he don't agree, right? Just because he don't agree with your positions about charter schools, because you sitting on the public school board trying to do everything in your power to drain the resource for public schools to put in charter schools that you're benefiting, schools that you're running, does not turn around here and mean that he's any less of a leader. And I'm saying to you, when you have that type of dog, is when people start creating these divisions between folks. And I'm telling you right now, the only thing that qualifies you to run for the Board of Education is the fact that you're 18 and live in the city of Newark.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. That's the only thing that qualifies you to run for the Board of Education. And so the point that when folks turn around here and try to downgrade another guy because he thinks that he's less than somebody, because this is what they were saying. But this is what they were saying. So just like I didn't disagree when they were downgrading your doctorate degree last year and trying to make you seem like that, is I don't agree with them trying to make it seem like Marquise is some dunce, especially when Siobhan ran on a ticket with dunce. You know what I'm saying?
Who are we talking about?
Bro, please, I'm not gonna get into that. You know what I'm saying? Especially when Siobhan Jeffries ran on a ticket with dunce. You know what I'm saying? So I have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? So it was okay for him. And the same. And so it's okay for Siobhan Jeffries to run on the ticket and support that individual. You know what I'm saying? But then you can't. But you want to turn around and say Marquise is less of a person because he's not educated enough for you to be on school board. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Because hold on. Because the reason why he's hold on, you will, Chris. Because but I want to be clear the reason why he's focusing on Marquise. Because Marquise is the loudest advocate against charter school draining money. So what he's trying to do is focus his attention to try to make it seem like this kid. I don't agree with none of that negative campaigning. I don't agree with none of that. This is this ticket. This is that. I don't agree with none of that craziness. I think that we get to petty politics, but we need to respect people on issues. We need to respect people as leaders in this community, and we don't need to try to have these elitist elections that we try to pinpoint people who's so much better. No one disagrees with you that education doesn't matter. Of course it matters for the kids that we want to be educated. However, that is not what qualifies you to run for school board, and we can't turn around and put other
qualification that determines your heart and that determines your heart and wanting to serve your community.
As far as public service and community service goes, of course not. A degree doesn't make you a better public servant. What makes you an excellent public service is one, that you listen to the community, one, that you're able to empathize, three, that you understand policy, because I will pull your card on that. If you don't understand policy, degree or no degree, you should not be a public servant. And four, that you realize that there has to be an ability to come together around issues where you may be ideologically opposed and still do what's right for the greater good. So let's get that said. What we can do for our city is to stop the tone and the tenor where we ostracize people who make choices and decisions to better and improve themselves. That has got to stop.
I agree. I don't disagree.
In 2012, if Newark is to be what my mother always told me it could be, what my grandfather told me it could be, then we as a city collectively, put teams aside, need to say, take this off the table. This is not an arbiter of your blackness. Because that's what it's become. Let me finish. That's what it's become. You are somehow less black, and let me use myself. I'm somehow less black because although I grew up in East Orange, and I went to Princeton, I went to Duke, I went to Columbia, I'm somehow less black when every time I was in those situations, people pointed out my blackness.
That's right.
Every time I was in those situations, people told me you only got here because somebody did you a favor. So I had to prove myself, then some, for that person and that person, just to get my just due. So I don't expect to come home to Newark and have to hear that same type of nonsense. What needs to happen is we need to say, regardless of whether or not you have a degree, if you want to lead the children, this is what you should show. This is what you should show. The other children's first team, I never even knew Daniqua hadn't completed her degree because she's fiercely intelligent. And I've told it to her face.
On top of
fiercely intelligent, can talk about policy on anything,
on any level.
So if anyone wants to sit back and jerry-rig and pull strings and say, well, this person has this and this person doesn't have that, it should be moot and irrelevant because your actions and your ability to speak around the issue should say a
I agree.
And I'll say this.
I agree.
My reasoning for supporting Rashid is because I know him personally.
You know him personally.
Once people get to know him, and with his efforts with this team, I've come to grow with that and grow with him in this because he's an educator. He's an educator running on the ticket. The only one running in the race. You had another doctor there, things of that nature. But he's a practicing teacher in this city, trying to better the lives of the kids. And I think that deserves support. With the mere fact that of all the teachers, the 5 million teachers in this country, only 100,000 are black men. That's 2%. So we have to acknowledge those things. We have to acknowledge when people say, listen, I've done some things good for myself, but I'm ready to give back. And listen, when we got to remember, we turn a lot of people away too, Rahaman.
Right.
A lot of people are turned away. So we need to facilitate that dialogue and that discussion and say we're not enemies, because one thing you said before that I do agree with, sometimes we're just opponents.
Yes.
You told me before, hey bro, I love you, man. I'll give you the shirt off my back, but today I might not be able to be with you on this one because of what it means for your bottom line. And your bottom line is your union. My bottom line is trying to educate kids. Your bottom line is trying to help the community through wellness and well-being. We all have different bottom lines. We get into it here on this show. I don't agree with everything Raz does. I didn't agree with everything Sharp does. Just the other day, Sharp talked about how much I used to fight him all the time when I worked for him. Listen, man, that is what makes us who we are and makes us unique. That is what draws us to each other. That is what makes us say we want to work with each other. But what happens is when we start to play with the ball, some of us want to hold it longer than others. And my thing is, I don't have a problem with that. I want to be in the background. I'll look at policy. I'll teach. I'll do whatever. But when we have a qualified individual, all right, who says they want to be a part of something, get to know that person first before you tear them down. Why are we so anxious? Why are we so anxious to tear each other down first in our community? Right?
I love everybody.
I don't feel like the children of Newark are going to be abysmal state because Education Matters will or will not win.
Or because Children First Blue will not win. Listen, you'll have hardworking people trying to do what they can for the.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with either one of y'all, and we do got to stop tearing each other down. And I hate these type of politics, especially coming from our generation.
You got to facilitate that discussion more, though.
I know, but
you got to facilitate more.
You know what I'm saying? Because I talk to all sides, but I do hate this debate that I constantly got to have, where we do have some people who want to posture that somehow you have to be a certain thing. And I'm saying that has to stop. We have to include everybody. That leaders got to come from all different perspectives in our community. And it just can't come from those that went to degrees, because if that case happened, then we wouldn't be in the rut that we in right now in this country. And so I'm saying that I hope we do change it. I'm saying good luck on my team, the Children First team.
Education.
Everybody.
So
I wish well, and all of this are the children well. I wish the children well.
So I'm hoping that after when we do our show next time, we will actually know who the winners are, and we'll be able to have a better discussion, hopefully, and a much more respectable community that comes together and actually try to work out whatever the difference is. So listen, we'll see you the next time on the Newark Citizens Forum. Once again, good night.
Go out.
Good evening.
See? Man, walks in.